What is up? So, how to make a 50x return, or if you prefer $5 billion in about 36 hours. Um, so, one of the things that's been a kind of hypothesis of mine that I've talked a lot about, I've done a few deals in the space, and I honestly just haven't done enough is media. I think that it just as deal makers, obviously, I'm not a fan of starting from scratch. If you're if your goal is to grow media from scratch, why not go and buy it? Just the same way. If your goal is income, why not go buy that income? So this deal that just happened is a great case study, an amazing case study in the value creation and the opportunity that exists in media. So a lot of people realize because they watch Joe Rogan's podcast that he just basically licensed a deal to Spotify, and basically in this license deal, what he did was basically say, okay, whatever number of years you're going to have exclusive access to my podcast. There's so many things that I like about this. But one of the biggest ones is that there are a lot of people that are negotiating deals and aren't thinking about all the ways to put those deals together. One of the reasons that I started a royalty company, one of the reasons that the royalty company that we started has now gone public is that there is a big opportunity that exists in these alternative ways to structure and do deals. And this is just another case study in that. Now, why is this such an amazing, amazing deal? Well, what happened was Spotify went to Joe. They basically said, hey, we're going to license this from you for $100 million. It sounds like an outrageous amount of money for a podcast. How long when I was born, podcasts did not even exist. And now for a single podcast, this guy's getting $100 million. Unreal. Until you realize that that was an incredible discount. It was an incredible discount for a lot of reasons. And, one of the reasons is that the market valued that deal a lot higher. How much higher? You get to go and take a look at Spotify's chart and see that it's about $5 billion higher. $5 billion in value created with $100 million investment. I'm also really sure that they didn't just pay that $100 million all at once. That's going to be paid over time, and there's going to be milestones and blah, 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 if they've got a good deal maker on their side. And I'm sure as a multi-billion-dollar company, they do. So that part is really incredible. It signifies just that there's a lot of deals, there's a lot of value to be created. I do think at the same time, there's some interesting things for the landscape that you should be aware of as a micro deal maker. And one of those is that I think one of the reasons that we saw that $5 billion increase is that while YouTube is what it is, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. People are realizing that Spotify, with their business model, can use YouTube as a farm league. So Spotify becomes the major leagues and YouTube becomes the farm league. YouTube has all the clutter and all the stuff, and anybody can go there, and it's whatever. And Spotify can just come in and say, "Hey, we want the best of what you guys are offering, where the attention is." Now, on the other side of that, a lot of people are saying that, well, Joe's given up this growth that he could see in his audience in the coming years by going exclusive to Spotify. And I think that if Spotify is smart, what they're gonna do is, if you follow Joe Rogan, if you're watching the shows, they have the clips and they split it up and da da da. If all I would do to make up for that is take the very best, hottest clips, turn those into ads, run those ads on YouTube, or if the YouTube somehow, I don't even think they would block it, but all these guys use each other's platforms to advertise. But hey, maybe they block it. Push those clips over to Facebook or the other platforms, and TikTok is going to be big, and just take those tiny clips and push those and become the marketing machine for Joe Rogan that gets it. There's going to be they're going to get a ton of subscriptions. Like Joe Rogan's fans, and I'm not even really one of them. I wouldn't sign up for Spotify just for Joe Rogan, but there are a ton of people that would. And so they can use that to get all of his other audience to say, hey, there are going to be all those people that don't have Joe in their life. And I would just like wait even a few months and then start to target those folks with the clips and that kind of thing. It's like, hey, you miss Joe? Come on over to Spotify. The other thing that I think is valuable for us is just to understand that these are real assets that are tradable, that are valuable, that have real monetary value, and a lot more value than we ever thought. I think that there are going to be more $100 million deals that happen. I think there are going to be $500 million deals that happen. I think there are going to be $1 billion deals that happen, especially after they saw this $100 million deal that anybody would have said that is absolutely outrageous. And then within 36 hours, seeing what that did to Spotify's stock, because people see the tremendous value in owning these assets. And so understand that in some cases, you can take these assets and start, I see a day coming where somebody has some media assets that come with their business. You can split those two and then end up with two other assets that end up with a higher value than the previous two. Those kind of opportunities are definitely coming. So that's what I would be on the lookout for. I also just would be paying attention to this space to keep a track of what's going on, because what we want to do in micro private equity is take what the big boys do and just bring it to a smaller level. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Talk to you guys soon.